Have you ever been so organized that you had all of your Christmas decorating, all of your gift wrapping, all of your meal prepping, everything done and complete by the end of November so you could just sit back, relax, and enjoy December? No? Me neither. So every single year I make the same promise to myself, and that is that I will have all of my Christmas decorating done by the end of November so that December is just full of festive cheer and I'm not working through my to-do list. I have never achieved that, and to be honest with you, I'm starting to think it's some type of curse. There's some type of Christmas curse against me. But what are you gonna do? I did get my Christmas tree up, which, so I didn't do nothing in November. I did the Christmas tree. I really wish though I was the type of person that could have a Christmas tree and hang a wreath on the front door and then I'm ready for Christmas. That sounds really relaxing. But unfortunately, I'm not that kind of person, and I like to decorate every square inch of my house. I replace every ornament and picture frame with a Christmas ornament and Christmas picture frame. I will say though, in November, I tend to get distracted and not ever reach my goal of having all the decorating done. But come December 1st is when the real magic happens. I work better under pressure. So as soon as it gets to December 1st, I panic because it's like, okay, if I keep going at this rate, it's actually going to be Christmas Day and I'm not going to have my Christmas lights up or anything. So the first week of December, it's go time, and that's where I get most of my decorating done. And that's where we're at now. It is December 1st and I gotta get going. I gotta start working through the list. And my priority this week is to decorate my hallway. Specifically, my cabinet in my hallway. I got this cabinet in the summertime. I got it for free on Facebook Marketplace. I know, okay? What an awesome find. And I feel kind of bad because I got the cabinet and as always, I had these big grand ideas and I had special picture frames and ornaments I wanted to put in the cabinet, and then I didn't, and the poor little thing has been filled with my kids' toys and their empty drinking glasses, their old dirty socks. If there's an empty surface in my home and you don't put a lamp or an ornament in there, my kids assume it's for their trash, for their rubbish. So the poor cabinet has been really neglected, and I feel terrible because when you get furniture for free that is from an older generation, it's usually from a house clearance, which usually means that someone has died and their family is emptying their home, right? So when I get the furniture, I always think to myself, is the person who owned this up in heaven right now? And they're looking down and they're like, oh, you have my cabinet now? I really love that cabinet, so I'm glad that you have it and you'll love it too. And then they see my kids put their dirty socks in the cabinet. For shame, for shame. So I feel bad. I feel bad that I've neglected the cabinet when it was a gift from the universe and it was really beautiful. It deserves to be cherished. So I'm gonna go all out for Christmas time. I'm gonna make it up to the cabinet for the neglect I've put it through. And of course, I'm gonna buy all the decorations secondhand, or we're gonna make them. That's the only way, right? I'm gonna do a color scheme. I have wallpaper in my hallway and it has like blue and green parts to it. So the color scheme for my decorations is gonna be blue and green and chocolate brown. I kind of want to do like sophisticated, you know what I'm saying? Normally for Christmas time, I'm a little tacky. I'll admit that. I like being tacky. I like glitter. I like in-your-face Christmas stuff, sparkles. So that's my usual style. But for the hallway, yeah, I want to go for like a different vibe this time. I've never done this before. So I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit concerned. Can I pull it off? I don't know if I am a sophisticated lady or not. But I have the help of Pinterest. So I'll give it my best shot. Look how fancy I'm being right now with this little background going on. Very fancy, okay? Now you've seen the hallway, it's time to start decorating. So right off the bat, I saw this garland in B&M and it was literally perfect. It was exactly what I was looking for. I actually think the universe was testing me because it was like, are you going to buy this garland brand new? Because it's exactly what you want. But I did not feel the test and I said, no thank you. Plus it was £30 for one garland, and the way you see it right now on the screen displayed, that's like 4 or 5 garlands all stacked behind each other. So it makes it look like kind of big and full, but in reality, when you look at it up close, it's like kind of thin, and I wanted a really bushy garland to go on top of the cabinet. So I figured I'd have to buy probably 2 of these garlands to cover the cabinet, and there was no way in hell I was spending £60 on garlands. It was really beautiful, but it was just way too expensive. So you know what I did? I went to the charity shops and I searched for a garland that I could upstyle. But there was no garlands. I literally went to 5 different charity shops, no garlands at all. What's going on? So I was being impatient, and I definitely could have got a garland if I had went back a few days later, but I was impatient and instead I bought this Christmas tree because it had individual branches. So I figured I could make it into a garland. I used an old bamboo cane that I had out in my garden, and I just used some small green cable ties to attach the individual branches so I could layer it and stack them on top of each other, and I ended up with a really thick and full garland, which is exactly what I wanted. Next, I added some of these eucalyptus stems that I had. Anytime I'm in a charity shop or a car boot sale and I see artificial flowers or greenery, I always buy it, even if it's not my style, because there's just a million and one different things you can do with artificial flowers and greenery. So I have a big box full of just like random little bits that I've gathered over the years. So I looked through the box and I selected some little pieces like this and just scattered them throughout the garland. I just wanted to add some different shades of green and some different textures to it. I also already had 4 of these sparkly gold leaf sprays. I bought them years ago, I don't know why, and I've never been able to find a permanent home for them in my Christmas decorations. I just couldn't get them to match anything, so they've just kind of like been floating around the house for years. So I put them in the garland and I thought that's perfect because it's like the little sparkle of gold and silver that I was really looking for, and it wasn't too much in your face, it blended really pretty with the green. This bit was my favorite bit. In the garland in B&M, they had feathers in it, right? And I was like, yeah, I love that. It's so different and unique. I really love that. And of course, I have a ton of feathers from my chickens. So anytime me and the kids find pretty ones out in the garden, we've been collecting them for years. I have like a big giant pot of chicken feathers in my kitchen. I had no idea what the heck I was going to do with him, but then I was like, this is perfect because I can make it into Christmas decorations, and then I'll always remember all my different colored chickens, and it's just like a beautiful way to include them. So what I did was I used an old bamboo cane again, I cut it down to smaller pieces, and then I just hot glued the feathers on, kind of creating like a fan effect, and then it was easy to place it into the garland using the bamboo cane part. I took some bare branch cuttings from my garden and I tied a couple of small ones together using garden twine. I kept half of them just plain, the natural wood color, and then the other half I sprayed a metallic gold. I also sprayed, I think, 2 or 3 of them a dark blue color just to try to bring a little more blue to the garland because that was meant to be the theme, but I was struggling to bring blue into it. It was hard to get blue things that would blend in nicely with it. So I figured some blue twigs would help the situation. Lastly, for the garland, I wanted to add some baubles, and I wanted to do that thing that everybody's doing where they get like 4 or 5 baubles together and then they cable tie them or use wire to make them into like a ball grape bunch. You know what I'm talking about? I really wanted to do that. So I went out and looked for balls, and I found every single colour under the sun apart from blue. There was no blue balls in any charity shops I went to. So I caved, you'll have to forgive me, but the blue like flocked balls that you see in the background, I bought those new. I bought them new. I know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I had no choice. I really did search high and low and there was none. So I bought the blue ones new. I think they were £5 for 6 of them in Home Bargains. So it was still kind of reasonable, and they're really big. So look, don't judge me. I needed blue. There was hardly any blue in the garland. It was meant to be a blue themed garland. So I got desperate. But all of the like gold and brown balls that you see, they are all from various charity shops. So, you know, cut me some slack. Also, these ball bunches were more work than I had anticipated. I had to take off all of the caps on every ball and glue them on. I think if you had more expensive balls, they would be more secure, but these inexpensive ones, I had to hot glue all of the caps on so they would stay secure and then tie them all up. So it took a little longer than I expected, but I do think it was worth the hassle because the bunches are super cute. So this was my final result for the garland, and look, I know it doesn't look exactly like the one in B&M, but let's be fair here. The one in B&M was going to be a minimum of £30, but more likely 60, and this garland cost me £5 for the tree and then £7 for the balls. Everything else I already had. So it's £12 compared to 30 or 60, you know? I still think it looks really pretty. Now it's time to decorate the shelves on my hutch, and I was so excited for this part because it meant I got to go out and buy lots of little knickknacks, which is my most favourite thing to do. So right off the bat, the first thing I found were these little metal reindeers, and I'll be totally honest, this would not normally be something that I would pick up. It wouldn't be my style. And if I did get it, I would be like, okay, let's spray this red or spray it gold. Like, it's not Christmassy enough for my liking. But remember, I'm trying something new here on the cabinet. I'm trying to be a fancy, sophisticated woman, you know what I'm saying? So I brought the reindeers home and I gave them a chance. I put them on top of these books to try and make it look even more sophisticated. My dogs have chewed both these books. There's no backings on either of them, and I don't know why I don't replace them. They were literally 10p each in a charity shop. I just keep them. I think the bite marks add character, I guess. But don't the reindeers and the books look so good? Like, it's so fancy. I love it. I think it's perfect, and it's like ultimate Pinterest goals. Next up, I'm adding this vase with artificial flowers. I actually bought this to rob the flowers and add those to my garland, but when I got it home, I realized that the flowers are resined to the base of the vase, so they aren't going anywhere. So I made the best of it and added the vase to the shelves, and I think it worked out perfectly because it was a little bit extra blue, a little more touch of blue. You might recognize this little guy from when I did a makeover in my living room a few months ago. Well, all those pictures are being stored now because I have Christmas picture frames on the walls instead. And this little one, I thought, actually, I'm going to bring it out and let it get appreciated over Christmas and put it in my cabinet. And I think it matches so well because it has the green border. It's beautiful. I also pulled out this little metal easel that I got in a car boot sale like 2 years ago. And I think the two of them were made for each other. Of course, it wouldn't be a room in my home if there wasn't candles, so I brought in my little glass Make-A-Wish match holder, and I brought in this big chunky brass candlestick. I got this for £1 in a charity shop last year, and I'm obsessed with it. It's just so fancy and beautiful. So I brought that in with the matches, and then this little lantern is new this year. I got it a couple of weeks ago for £1 in a charity shop, and I just think the three of them together, it's not in your face Christmas, but there's gold and candles, so that's always Christmassy, right? I scored these two heavy ceramic picture frames for just 20p each. One of them, as you can see, came from Next, so God knows what that cost originally, but I just love them. I think they're so gorgeous. The smaller one has the most beautiful detail. Little cherubs, I love cherubs. And I just think the colours go so well with the cabinet. The small one has the dark grey, brown to go with the cabinet, and then the contrast with the white, oh, it's just so beautiful. And then the gold one brings some sparkled, magical colours, and the two of them together, although they're very different, not similar at all, they just sit so well together. And with the kids' pictures from different Christmases over the years, oh, I love it. I love a good picture frame, me, and these two are probably my favourite ones I've got this year. I bought this little wooden tray a few weeks ago. I think it was £1, and I bought it to use as a Christmas gift hamper because it's perfect for it. It has the beautiful painted holly detail in the centre, but then I had a better idea for it. I wanted to fill the tray with ball balls, but then I found this scarf for 50p in a charity shop, and it was the perfect colours. It had the green, the blue, the brown, the yellow not so much, but I don't think you notice the yellow in the scarf once the ball balls are all filling up the tray. All of the ball balls I either already had or I bought them really cheap in charity shops. I had actually intended on cutting the scarf in half and using half of it to line this tray and the other half to cut up and make into bows for my garland, but you'll see later in the video why that did not happen. This heavy metal tray I also bought with the intention of using it as a gift hamper for my Christmas gifts this year, but I love it so much that I didn't want to give it away. I grabbed my set of 4 martini glasses. I thrifted these glasses probably 12 years ago, and they're beautiful. They have a heavy metal base, but they've probably only ever been used twice. I know, it's such a shame. So I'm going to try this Christmas to remember to use them and make some cute Christmas cocktails for myself. But to make them a little bit more Christmassy, I grabbed some leftover green velvet ribbon I had from last year's gift wrapping. I just tied it up into little bows and used some double-sided sticky tape to add it to the front of each of the martini glasses. Next to the martini glasses, I added this little white ceramic pot that I picked up for 20p in a charity shop recently. I love it, it's super classic looking, and to keep things simple, I just added some water and 2 cuttings from my garden to fill it up. Simple yet elegant, and it brings a lovely Christmas smell to the room. Lastly, for the cabinet, I wanted to add this little gold dish that I've had for a while. I did plan on filling it up with more ball balls, but then this morning, me and the kids and Andy had a blast filling these oranges with cloves. If you've never done this before, they give off an absolutely beautiful smell. It just reminds me so much of Christmas when I was a kid at my granny's house. She would always have these and I loved the smell of them. Honestly, I was really surprised how much fun we had making these. They're so simple, but we all really enjoyed it. My oldest son is 13 years old and I thought that he would be too cool to do that. But in fact, all of us together, we had a lot of fun. We sat for about an hour making different designs and just enjoying each other's company. It was a really lovely Christmas tradition, which I think we'll be doing again and again every year. So I added the oranges to the dish along with some pine cones that we found on a winter walk recently and some potpourri. Now the room is smelling really Christmassy. And with that, my beautiful cabinet is all set for Christmas. I was worried I couldn't pull off the classic elegant style, but I think it worked out perfectly. My total cost was around £12 for the garland and around £10 for the decor inside the cabinet. Plus, I had so much fun trying out this new style and searching for all the little knickknacks, and that is priceless. Now I'm going to move on to the Christmas tree. I always put a Christmas tree in the corner of the hallway. It looks beautiful with the big windows on that corner, but I must warn you right now, my idea for this Christmas tree is what nightmares were made of. I really wanted to have some traditional Christmas bows in my hallway. I have this green velvet ribbon left over from my gift wrapping last year, and I looked high and low in so many different charity shops trying to find some blue ribbon or maybe even some patterned ribbon, but I didn't have any luck at all. I did, however, find these two scarves. They were 50p each, and I think they would be perfect cut up and made into bows. And look at the label I just found. It's mulberry 100% lamb's wool. What the heck? That can't be right. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt the flow of the video and stop the DIYing, but I'm not going to cut this scarf up. It is a vintage mulberry scarf. It's not my style, but it would be my mother-in-law's style. So I'm actually going to keep this and add it to my mother-in-law's Christmas hamper because I think that she would really love that. I'm not going to cut that up even though it is the perfect colours for what I was looking for, but I will manifest finding another check and tartan scarf in the charity shop. Sorry for the change of plans. But I will, however, still make this one. I've checked, it is not a very expensive brand. It doesn't have any labels at all. So I'm going to cut this one up and try and make this into bows. At first, I set up this snowy Christmas tree. I'm not really a big snowy tree fan, to be honest with you. Number one, it's very messy. And number two, it doesn't make any logical sense for a tree inside your house to have snow on it. So yeah, I'm just not a snowy tree fan. But I got this tree really, really cheap last year secondhand. So I thought I would give it a chance this year. I fluffed it all up, I put the lights on, I decorated it, and I absolutely hated it, and I took the whole thing down and accepted that I was never getting those hours of my life back again. So back to the drawing board, I had seen on Pinterest people using big lampshades as tree skirts, and it just so happens that I have several giant lampshades, so I thought I would try it out. It's actually a funny story how I came to have these giant lampshades. A nice lady was selling 5 of them on Facebook Marketplace for £15. So I drove and bought them, and I thought the green ones would look good on my bedside tables. And in the picture, they looked normal size. So when I got there and I saw them and realized they're huge, like insanely huge, but she was so nice, I didn't want to disappoint her. So I still bought them, even though I have low ceilings in my house and literally nowhere to put them. But they are super pretty, and I think I'll think of something to do with them eventually. So anyways, the only other tree I had was this tall, thin green tree. I usually use this tree out in my garden. So I had to pull off all the dead leaves from last year. And once I got it set up, I put the lights on and then the same decorations in the same layout as I did the snow tree. And that's when I realized it wasn't the snow tree that was the problem. It was my terrible decorating. So I hated this tree too, but what was a girl to do? I had no other options. It was this or no tree at all. Okay, so I'm not feeling crazy about the tree. I'm sorry to say that. I wanted to, and I thought it would be really cool. I like nature and kind of like a Christmas bird's nest. I feel like that's what's happening here. I don't hate it, but I just feel like it's missing something and I can't identify what it is. I feel like I need more branches, but is that the problem? Is the branches the problem? It's so hard to tell. But I'm gonna give this a go. So I got this giant bag of gold ornaments. It has like loads of ribbon and like bows and some little ornaments in the bottom. I got it in a charity shop a couple of weeks ago for £2, and I already did decorate a tree with these bows and I didn't like it and took it all off. So now I'm like hesitant to do it again, but I just feel like the tree, I don't know. I don't think it goes with the rest of the room or the garland. On its own, I think it's really cute, but not with the garland. Okay, I got more branches from the garden, so I'm going to add them and then either it will reveal that the branches are the problem or it will look better. I feel like it will look better, but oh no. Okay, so I've taken away all my twigs and these as well, and the bows. I cut all those branches for nothing. Okay, and then I did have this scarf. If you remember, I tried to cut it up into bows. That was not very successful. That's why you never saw the end result. but would it look cool if I did this? Okay, now I'm actually really loving the scarf. I think that's exactly what I needed. These are the bows that I tried to make cutting up the scarf. I didn't show you them earlier because, to be honest, I thought they were terrible. So I was just gonna scrap the whole idea and you would never know, I would never tell you that that happened. But now I'm gonna show you the bows because now I'm like, maybe they're not as bad as I think. So this was my first attempt. I hot glued velvet ribbon on and then made it into a bow. I don't hate this one and it's kind of kept its shape okay, I think because I hot glued the velvet on. So I think I might put that on the tree, but I'll show you the other ones because some of them are terrible. So that one's number one. This one was my second one. You see what I mean? It's kind of like they're floppy, which obviously I should have thought of before I cut up the scarf. Like obviously the scarf material, there's a reason that people don't cut up and make it into bows, is because it's kind of heavy and it can't keep its shape. But it's still kind of cute. It's like a droopy bow, a little bit. I don't hate it, but I need to cut the ends into the triangle thing. But I don't hate it either. I might use that. And then this one is the worst one. But this is where I learned that I needed to add the velvet. Yeah, it's not really a bow shape. It's kind of like a sad bow, isn't it? It's like a depressed bow. But I still might use it in the tree. So that was there a bit that I cut, and then I have this much left of the scarf. So I'm gonna cut this in half, and then I'll have 2 more strips to put around the tree. I think this is perfect. But I am really sad about not using my twigs because I really wanted to use the twigs. Don't ask me where I got that idea from because I can't figure out why I thought putting twigs in the tree would be good. Part of me wants to say it was a dream. A fever dream. I still think it would look good in the right place. I have a couple of the branches that I sprayed gold and I sprayed some dark blue and put it in the garland, and it's beautiful, it's really cute, but it's just not working on the tree. And then I'm thinking maybe I make the branches smaller, but I can't. I've literally spent hours on this tree and it's so basic for how much time I put into it. But I put those branches in and out like 3 times. I don't think I can barely do it again. One million hours later, I did get the Christmas tree to a pretty reasonable standard. I don't think it's going to win any awards, but it's cute and it matches our colour scheme. And I think considering it cost me around £3 in secondhand baubles, 50p for a scarf, and everything else I either already had or I found for free in my garden, I think it looks pretty good for how little it actually cost. I saw these 2 glass lampshades, all dusty and sad, in a charity shop. I got them for £1 each and they just look exactly like bells to me. So I brought them home and I gave them a little wash. I also bought this beaded necklace for 50p. If you're thrifting your items like I did, then look for chunky necklaces and bracelets. Then you can cut them up and reuse the beads. The chunkier the better, and don't worry if the beads aren't the colour you want. You can always spray paint them, or if they're wooden beads, you could sand them down. Now find a bead that's big enough that it won't fit through the hole at the top of the lampshade. Now using twine from my garden supplies, I cut a length around 20 inches long. Thread the twine through the big bead, placing the bead in the middle of your piece of twine. Now tie a knot above the bead and below the bead so that the bead stays in place. Now you're going to thread the twine through the lampshade so that the bead is blocking the hole. I use my hot glue gun to secure it. Now find 3 more beads. It looks nice if they are different colours and different sizes. Thread these beads through the bottom of the twine, tying a knot at the end. Now we have 2 bells. Next, I used 2 of the branches I had left over from the Christmas tree we made into a garland earlier. I used a cable tie to connect the branches together, then I tied the bells to the centre of the branches, finishing them off with a cute velvet bow. This DIY took me around 20 minutes and cost me £2.50, and I think they look absolutely amazing. Totally the vibe I'm going for in this room. The glass has a beautiful colour and shimmer to it. I'm going to be keeping these jingle bells forever and ever. I absolutely love them. The hallway was looking amazing, but I couldn't help but feel like one side of the room was looking a little bit bare. And in case it wasn't obvious already, I like everywhere to be decorated. So I needed to add a little Christmas charm to the bench and mirror that are facing my cabinet. Remember those gold bows that I desperately tried to make work on the Christmas tree? Well, I finally figured out a good place for them. I used my hot glue gun to glue the ribbons together into a long line. I added a set of battery wire lights for an extra sparkle. Then I attached the end of the ribbon to the back of the bench using a little bit of sellotape. I think the gold on the dark wood makes a really beautiful and dramatic effect. I love this little garland. It was the simplest and quickest thing I've made so far, and it looks adorable. I have this little gold table, and I usually have a picture frame and a candle here, but it's Christmas time now, so only Christmas things are allowed. I bought this really beautiful ceramic jar secondhand for £5, and I absolutely love it because I can keep it in the hallway even after Christmas. I also scored this little mini Christmas tree. I actually got this from Asda, one of the rare times that I didn't buy second hand, but it was only 10p because it's missing its feet, but that didn't matter for what I wanted to use it for. I pushed it down into the jar, and then I added some more scraps from my artificial greenery supply box. And then of course everything must have lights, so I added another set of little wire battery lights. I put the battery box down inside the jar so you wouldn't see it. Next, I added this little crystal candlestick holder that I already had, but instead of using the white taper candles I normally used, I swapped them out for these luxury pastime candles that I found in a charity shop for just 50p. They're a dark rich green colour, so they work perfectly with our colour scheme. I only wish I had 2 candlestick holders so I could display both the candles. Lastly, for the little table, I added this little potted Christmas tree that I've had for probably 10 years now. I think the metallic gold was the perfect touch to mix with the dark blues and greens on the tabletop. And with that, the little side table was complete. Super simple and elegant. I love it. Okay, we're so close to the end. I can honestly feel it. But there's one area of the room that is not super Christmassy, and it also looks kind of messy, and it's driving me crazy, and it's this base of the lamp. I got these 2 little Christmas trees probably last month in 2 different charity shops. This one I think was £1, and I think this one was £3, but this one doesn't have any feet. This one does. But my thinking is, should I put them like kind of at the base like this? I'll put some little lights. I don't think I have any ornaments left, but I'm sure I can find something. Like this. Is it too much? I just feel like you can never have too much. I dug through my basket collection. See, Christmas time is my basket's time to shine. It's the best time for a basket collector. I like this one because it's dark wood, which matches the room, but I don't think the shape is great for a Christmas tree base. This one I think is perfect for either tree, really. I have this little tiny one. I feel like it's too small. And then, like Goldilocks, I'm hoping that this one's just right. What do you think of those baskets?
So, after an entire week of hanging lights, decorating and undecorating Christmas trees, DIYing, and just having an absolute blast, the hallway was finally ready for Santa coming to town.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding.
So that is my little hallway Christmas makeover this year, and you might have noticed in the background of this video that it was snowing all week as I was decorating, which I took as the universe's way of encouraging me and getting me into the Christmas spirit. I do have a confession to make though, and that is that this year I let myself fall into the comparison trap. I was so excited to decorate for Christmas and to make my DIY ideas come to life, and then social media was flooded with other people's expensive, luxurious, and beautiful Christmas decorations. And it made me feel bad, like I couldn't compete with that. And I know that Christmas isn't a competition, it's a chance to be creative and have fun. But I think because we have so much social media and advertisements all the time, it's easy to fall prey to the comparison trap. And thinking about that made me realize that someone might watch my video and feel like they don't have the resources to decorate how I did, or they don't have the time, or they're just not in the headspace for it right now, and that might make them feel bad. So I want to show you this clip. This is my kitchen the day I brought all of my Christmas decorations out of storage. I also, for some unknown reason, decided to do this at dinner time, so I had to cook dinner around all this mess. We usually only see the good and tidy parts of people's lives and homes, but often there is a messy backstage going on as well. So listen, thank you for coming along today. I hope I could give you some ideas for your own Christmas decorations. I'm going to be decorating my porch this coming weekend, another new idea that I haven't tried before, so fingers crossed. And I hope I'll see you there too. Thanks again for watching my video today. Take good care of yourself. Merry Christmas. Bye bye.